Hello, my friends. It's another day of filming for me. So here we are. And today we are going to talk about something that is very exciting for me. Not so much for my wallet. And also not so much for yours, if you're into this. Okay. So let me preface this by saying I bought this with a gift card from Christmas. And otherwise, I don't think I would have ever purchased this because it is so expensive. Also, pause. Sean and his dad are watching a movie downstairs. If you can hear that in the background, disregard. I did my best. Can't get mad, okay? Wish you could see more of this bad boy. Oh, so cute. Okay, I'll show you what it is. It's the Natasha Denona Triochrome palette, and it is $120. I'm sorry. Let me correct myself. It's $129. We're going to talk about it today. We're going to do all the swatches, we're going to do the whole review, and then we're going to do this eye look together. So, if you would like to have that happen for you, stay tuned. Okay, let me pull up the Natasha Denona website because the description is very important. Okay, that's all. We're just gonna look up the description. So I was trying to do research and I was gonna like write out a bunch of stuff handwritten, and then I realized, why don't I just read it from the website, because I was essentially gonna write the entire thing. So it is a limited edition palette, so it's not gonna be around forever, but Triochrome is the reason I wanted this. The 3 shimmers in the center of this palette. 1, 2, 3. They are considered triochromes, which means that they are, instead of a duochrome where there's 2 colors, there's 3 shifting between. And I just thought that was the coolest thing in the entire world. So I'm gonna quickly read the description here, and then I'm gonna go through every shade. I'm gonna swatch them on my arm to the best of my ability because I only have one arm and I still don't have makeup wipes. Anyways, so the description that I have here says, revolutionizing colors to pop your look. Enhance and define your eyes with these new futuristic multi-chrome eyeshadows, containing 3 different pressed pigment multi-chrome shades in the center of each row and their complementary matte shadows on either side tones to complete a whole makeup look. Perfect to create a multi-dimensional look with a variety of textures and shades. The top row, which is here, which is the green row, Trailblazer, is inspired by those who look outside of the box and create an avant-garde look. The middle row, which is purple, is called True Enthusiast, for those mastering new techniques to create all types of looks. And the bottom row, which is Total Flip, which I actually used today, that is for those creating everyday, more classic, soft and subtle looks. However, I wouldn't say this is soft and subtle. I went a little nuts. I had a little fun. I also used this shade. So I used every shade on this row plus this green multi-chrome. So I am going to very quick just swatch these, and then I'll tell you each one. All right, I did it. So I'm gonna also give you the descriptions they have on their website for each color because they're gonna be way better at explaining these than I am. So here are the top 5 shades. Oh, there's only 15 shades, not 18. Caitlin, if only I could count. So these are the 5 green shades on the Trailblazer row. You have Scrap, which is like a deep olivey green with a hint of brown in there. It doesn't swatch great, but I can guarantee you I've used these shades on my eyes. They blend and work beautifully on your eyes. Some matte shadows are not great when they come to swatching because that's not how they're meant to apply it. I'm never going to apply a matte shadow with my finger unless I'm putting it like all over my lid, in which case I'm patting it on. If I'm going to apply a matte shadow, it's obviously with a brush. So a rough swatch like that isn't really a telltale sign of how a shadow will perform. You always have to put it on your eyes. But just to give you an idea of the colors. So that is Scrap. Then we have Androdite, which is a pastel mint. It's very hard to see, but it's there. Then you have your multi-chrome. This is Scarab, and that is a poison green, warm gold, and blue. I think if I move her around, you can see the different shifts. Yeah, you can can kind of get a look for it. And then here is Ion, which is an acid green, and then Vert, which is a vibrant mustard. So those are your green shades. Also, if you go on Natasha Denona's website or the Sephora website, I believe too, they do have a little video tutorial on the page of this palette that gives you a look for each of the rows. And I believe they're all day and night looks, which is pretty cool. So if you're curious and you want this palette before it is gone, there are many tutorials out there showing you how to use all these colors. So that's Trailblazer. Now I'm going to move on to the next row, which is True Enthusiast, which is the purples. Wow, I need to use this row of the palette. So here are your purples. So in order, and I believe I can read the description on the website here. So this first shade is called Naga. It's very hard to see, but it's a pastel lavender between Vert and the dark purple, which I will talk about next. But this pastel lavender right here is called Naga. Then you have Manganese, which is this vibrant eggplant. This, for being a purple, rumor has it, obviously I've never formulated eyeshadows. Rumor has it purples are the hardest to formulate. But that purple was so easy to swatch. I just rubbed my finger around in there and it swatched beautifully. So just keep that in mind. I have a feeling that shade would be phenomenal to work with. Your next shade is right here, which is your multi-chrome. It's called Kinetic, and it shifts between purple, fuchsia, and neutral silver. So let me try and give you that little, I feel like it doesn't come off on camera as well, but I can see the shifts. I feel like it's more of like this way, which is hard to move my arm, but like I can see it looking at it head on here. Then your next color is Redox or Redix. It's a dusty lilac, and that is like a gray lilac. And then your next shade, or your last shade in the palette or on that row, is Toasted Mauve. Sorry, Tungsten, which is a toasted mauve. And that would be a gorgeous color to put all over your lid and buff out and blend and be done, because wow, is that beautiful. I also think that that color would be really good as a blush. And I will discuss, I actually used an eyeshadow today as my blush, as just a way to try out a different way to use the palette, just because that color really made me excited and I wanted to tie the two together. Now I'm gonna swatch the bottom row, which is the Total Flip. I'm gonna do it on the back of my hand because I've run out of places on my arm. Give me one moment. All right, and now we have our very last row, which is it claimed to be neutral, it's not. It's like a peachy with a little bit of orange. So this first shade, which you can't even see because it is literally my skin tone, just a hair deeper, is a Vertex, and that's a cool ivory. Your next shade is the green, which I'm sorry. I need to tell you a story. My mom always calls orange and green the wrong colors. And I just did that out loud, and that hurts my soul. So I don't want to hear about this, Mom. If you're watching this and you've made it this far in the video, it's about 15 minutes in. I don't want to hear about this, okay? It was an accident. There's a lot of things happening around here, okay? Anyways, this plutonium, it is an orange. It's the orange on the inner corner, orange. So plutonium is a burnt mandarin, as they call it. And then this is the shade that I have all over my lid. And then I have a scarab on the outer corner here. This color shift is out of this world. You can see it so good on camera. I can see it from here, so you get that bright pink and then like a green. And it has like a peachy hint, right? It describes it as, it's called Color Flip. Color shifts of pink, nude, and green, which I can see because you get like that peachy tone, which you're gonna consider nude, I guess. Your next shade is Garmin, which is a peachy taupe, which is a beautiful shade. And then your last one in that particular row is Diatonic, which is a vibrant light coral. And that is the shade that is on my cheeks as blush. So those are all of your shades in this palette. And wow. So let me talk about what I think is so cool. I've only used this once, and that was to do this eye look. I have not even swatched it besides swatching it just then. So half those shades, more than half, 3/4 of those shades I have never even seen yet. And they're really cool. So the reason I wanted to get this palette is because I don't have anything else like it in my collection. And I have 25 eyeshadow palettes, okay? And I have nothing like this. I have nothing with these color stories. I have nothing with this combination. And the rose is genius because you can just use an entire row and make an eye look. It sets it up in a way that you don't have to come up with the idea. It's in it. Could you come up with an idea and go crazy and do a bunch of these colors together, or not at all, and like mix and match from across the palette? Of course you can. But to have them set up in rows where you can just like, for today, for example, I use this entire top row because I knew that was the point of it. So I started with this shade and moved on to this one and then put this one on my lid and put that one in my inner corner, blah, blah, blah. It's set up in such a way that it's impossible to not come up with something here. And then you have your whole purple row and they all go so well together. Then you have a whole green row and they all go so well together. And that's just, it's genius. Okay, and they're also tones that I don't have in anything else. Like these greens are not greens that I have sitting in any other palette. And I do have a couple of colorful palettes and I have nothing like it. But the real reason why I bought this palette and the reason I wanted it so badly is because I have wanted these kind of multi-chrome, duochrome, triochrome. I can't even speak English. I just love it so much. Triochrome eyeshadows for so long. Like I used to stare at Pinterest or at Instagram and be like, wow, look at those color shifting eyeshadows. They're so cool. I want them so bad. And I just never got one. But then this palette came out and it was the perfect time because it gives you 3 wicked cool color change. Like this green is going from gold to green to blue. This purple is like it says silver, but there's also fuchsia, and then there's purple, and then you have this green, bright green and pink, which like the color shift on this is insanity. It's so cool and I'm just so excited to have them and to play with them. My only thing is I think they would have done better if I wet them. And I don't have a setting spray. I've run out and I haven't bought any more and I need to, but that's not the point. But I think they would have done better wet. I think if I put them on a brush and I sprayed the brush, beautiful. I did put a glitter primer down on my lid to kind of help them because I had a feeling they would need something, and since I don't have the wet setting spray to make them pop more, I decided this would be my next best thing, and I bet it did something. I'm actually gonna let's do a quick, I'm gonna put a little bit on my wrist and we're just gonna do a comparison. Oh yeah, I didn't even try at all. You can physically see the difference. Here is swatching, and I actually just swatched that twice with a bare finger, and here's with a glitter primer, and it is exponentially better. I wonder if I can get close enough where you can actually see the difference here. Yeah, so here's with the glitter primer and here's without. So that definitely did something, and it makes the multi-chrome aspect pop so much more when it's stuck down, because before, when I'm just swatching it with my finger, I was like, they're beautiful and I'm obsessed with them. I mean, this one, look at how cool that is, and there's no primer under there. But the only problem was that like the edges are getting a little faded. You can see some of the color dispersing, and that's not necessarily going to give you the full effect of the multi-chrome, but that glitter primer really did it. So if you don't have a glitter primer, I would definitely use them wet. But this glitter primer is the NYX glitter primer. I got it off of Amazon when I was doing my glitter video, so inexpensive, easy to find. So that was really cool. But then you mix those multi-chromes with the color story that's just so unique, and I couldn't say no, and I just had to have it. And I had a gift card, so I decided to buy it. Do I think that you need this palette? No, it's $129. Nobody needs this palette. Do I think it performs good? Yes. Do I think you can get everyday shades in there? Yes. Do I think you can get some of the coolest eyeshadows that you'll probably get in your entire collection in there? Yes. So if you have the money to spend on a $129 eyeshadow palette, it hurts me to say, and you like the color story and you want to try it and you want to do something with it, go for it. I fully plan on doing more looks with this, and I think a random color challenge would be wicked cool with this palette. Anyways, let's jump into the walkthrough of me doing my eyeshadow look, and then we will pop back on and I will say my farewells. All right, let's start this bad boy off. So to start off this eye look, I had primed my eyes with the Smashbox 24-Hour Photo Finish eyeshadow primer, put it all over my lid, and then set it with a little bit of my translucent powder. Put on some tape because that is going to give me my nice straight sharp line, which is something I was going for naturally. Then to start, I tried to dip into Vertex just to kind of see if it would deepen up my crease at all, and it really didn't do much simply because the shade is about my skin tone. Could I have set my primer with this? Absolutely, and that would have worked great. I just didn't know at the time that it would have been light enough to do so. I was under the impression that it was probably going to be a hair deeper, but that's beside the point. Then I moved on to the shade Diatonic, which is that peachy, well, it claims it's a coral at the end. I'm sorry if you're hearing all the noise in the background, I'm doing my best. I dipped into Diatonic and I put that into my crease with a more defined brush, a defined fluffy brush that is a little bit more paddle-like and a little flatter, but also has a fluffy end. And I put that more targeted into my crease. Then after I was done blending that, which took me some time, because I also went in with a clean blending brush to really get the edges diffused. I then went into Garmin, which they describe as a mauve peach. Hey.
What's up?
Trying to talk about what I did.
Why don't you tell us what you did?
No, I'm not done filming. It's actively filming.
Can you put this part in your video?
Of course, I always do. Come here, John. We're talking about the eyeshadow palette I bought with my gift certificate. You got to get down low.
Okay. So, am I going to be in a YouTube video?
You sure are.
I feel so cool. Thanks.
I did his makeup. Now it makes sense why you're here, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I hope you want to wash that off. It might look like you're bruised if you don't.
I'll be all right.
I didn't do great swatching it. I just kind of threw it on there quick. I didn't think I'd have time if I did.
Maybe you should brush it in or something.
Well, if I blend it, then it won't be as nice.
No, that's fine. Thanks. I just wanted to thank
you. Want to see how cool this is? Look how cool this is.
Is that the things you were talking about?
Look at how the color changes. Is that not wicked cool? Do you not see it?
Yeah, that's amazing.
You can't be that blind.
No, I can.
It's pink and green. It's very different.
Okay, so I can see it, but
that's cool.
Okay, so no, this is cool.
It's 9:47.
It's 9:47?
Yeah.
I just spit. I got too excited.
We just finished the worst movie I've
I love that movie.
It was a rom-com. It was
yeah, it's a rom-com.
Yeah,
that's why I like it.
It was okay.
Oh.
It's not a good, it's not an action movie.
No, that's good action.
Terrible.
Yeah, good action.
It's a girl movie.
It's okay.
Mhm.
I'm so glad you enjoyed it.
Girls like that?
Yeah, I thought that movie was awesome. I've watched it multiple times.
Yeah, I liked it. I just wanted to thank you for dinner. It was delicious.
Well, thanks for hanging out after. All right, where was I here? All right, so next I went into the shade Garmin on a, I'd say a pencil brush, but it's a little bit fluffier, a little bit more, there's just more bristles on that brush. And I put that into my crease as well, but I really wanted to target that one because I didn't want it to go higher than the original peach so I could still blend it up into my crease. Then I went back in with the original brush and blended it into Diatonic. Occasionally I'll go in and dip into Diatonic just to help the blending a little bit more. But then from there, I dipped into Color Flip after I put the glitter primer all over my eyelid, as I mentioned before. Put Color Flip over the first half of my eye and then decided that Color Flip was not enough and I wanted more, and I just wanted to try more shades. So then I dipped into Scarab, which is the green multi-chrome, on my finger as well, and put that on the outer third, and then tried to blend them into each other on the top of my eye. So I would go in with Scarab over the pink, and then or Color Flip, and then I would take Color Flip and go a little bit over Scarab and just try to blend them into each other as much as I possibly could. Then I went into Plutonium, which was the only shade on that row that I had not used yet, and I dipped in with a very small pencil brush and added that into my inner corner as a little pop of orange. I went off camera and did my whole face, and then when I came back, I dipped into Diatonic again with once again a more defined fluffy blender that was a paddle shape, but a different one that had a little bit more taper. And I went under my lower lash line with that first, and then I took a defining brush, which is a flat definer, and I dipped into Garmin and I pushed that very close into my lower lash line and then blended it back out with the original brush. Oh, I also forgot to mention that I did take a hair of plutonium on that pencil brush and put it kind of into my crease off center, just because I wanted to have a little bit more of that plutonium shade to kind of peek through and tie the inner corner in with the crease. Now back to the lower lash line, so sorry. So then I took the plutonium shade on that pencil brush and just kind of touched up the inner corner since I had done some concealer, and then brought it further into my tear duct slightly to mesh in with the diatonic. Then I took a black liner, put it in my upper tight line, and then the ColourPop cream gel liner in the shade Amethyst Hour went in my lower waterline because it really tied in those brighter pinks and purples that I was using. Then I added mascara and moved on. Then after I had done my bronzer, I decided I wanted to try using one of the shades in the palette as a blush. So I took my blush brush and very carefully dipped into diatonic, tapped it off on my hand a little bit to kind of diffuse some of that pigment, because eyeshadows are typically much more pigmented than a blush would be. And then I started to add that all over my cheeks in my typical blush locations, and then also took it up onto my temple and tried to blend it into the edge of my sharp line that I had made using the tape. So, what do you think? I'm not going to say anybody should buy this. I'm not going to say anybody should buy anything from Natasha Denona. It's very expensive. And unless you want to spend $129 on a palette and cry on the inside, but also love it because it's phenomenal, then this is not for you. However, I just think this is really fun. I think the color story is cool, and it's pushing me out of my comfort zone and forces me to not use a simple light brown and neutral shade. On that note, I'm gonna go. My camera battery is telling me it's gonna die. It is now almost 10 o'clock. I need to wash everything off my body, including my face, and also take some photos of this. So I'm gonna go. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like this video. Comment if you think that this eyeshadow look is too crazy for you. Also comment if you think that it's not too crazy for you. Comment if you think that the Triochromes were 100% worth my purchase, because I think they were. I know it's $129, but I'm not even sorry a little bit. And then if you want to see more videos from me, feel free to subscribe so you can come back and see me every Friday at 5 p.m., which is when I post. If you also want to follow me on Instagram, which is at CaitlinJolene_makeup, I post on there about twice a week. And I also do makeup Mondays, which sometimes fall on Tuesdays. Just don't hold me to it, but the name is cute, so like, what are we gonna do? And that is when I do a fun little Instagram story tutorial. I play music in the background, we hang out. Sometimes I have themes to the playlist, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I have no plans, sometimes I have a lot of plans. Lately it's been me getting ready for work, which is kind of interesting. You can see my routine. You can see my routine in the morning, how I get ready, what I use, what I don't use, what I leave out of my typical routine. If you have any ideas for videos that you want to see, feel free to leave them down below in the comments or to send me a DM on Instagram. I am going to do my makeup collection video. I have the furniture piece, I have it all organized, it's gonna be ready to rumble. I just need to do it and film it. And then I saw that Allie Glines, she's on YouTube. If you've never watched one of her videos, she's amazing. She did a Google Home Picks My Makeup, and I have one of those sitting right next to me, and I feel like that could be wicked fun. And I also have some new makeup that I need to try out that I just bought. So I have a few video ideas coming up. The next couple weeks are pretty solid. So if you want to be a part of that, feel free to stick around. If not, you do you. But I'm gonna go take some pictures, take this makeup off, and go to bed. So I love you all so much. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you next week. All right, you know the drill. This is what we do. And if you never make it to this part of the video, then you're missing out. Look at that. Look at that. I'm gonna hold it down so I can see it. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, it's so cool. And like I said last week, if you ever make it to this part where you get to see me do this every time, which is weird, but I'm gonna do it every time, feel free to comment something down below. It's gonna be our secret, but maybe this week should be dragon. The dragon emoji. Ooh, I just got a shiver. Or just the word dragon. Last week it was penguin, in case you were wondering. So you make it this far.